Yeah.
Oh, man. Back once again. Oh,
Bro, what are you singing? What is that? Oh my god.
Sorry.
We're all alright. We're all alright. Illinois, Wisconsin.
Every time he does that, I just have to start singing the song.
do you guys remember the original ending to that theme song?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they came. Glad they came.
Yes, I'm very glad they changed it.
Cat scratch fever.
Someone was like, we need to change this shit right now.
Yeah, that shit was not hitting.
That's not it.
No scratch fever. No scratch fever.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Starting early.
Hey, yo, bitch. Nothing happened. And what's happening?
Yo, I had solo mystical. Calm down.
that was Cat Williams version of doing that. Here I go. Here I go. That's mystical. Here I go like mystical.
Have y'all seen Kevin Hart's new stand-up yet?
I don't beg because my heart. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh, all right.
I haven't seen it because I don't have nothing. So.
Oh yeah.
You know, but like, I will humor you only because you're the homie. But like, I ain't. But like, quiet as kept. Like, I don't think Kevin Hart is funny.
I mean, I think he's funny at a certain point, but then at a certain time, it's just like, okay, so the delivery is like really recycled. But if you think about it, you know, look at the like, yeah, what's the word I'm trying? What's the word I'm looking for? Like the space. That's not the word, but that's the word that I can say.
The pacing, you mean?
Hmm?
You mean the pacing of the jokes?
Well, no, not the pacing. I'm talking about the landscape. There we go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
That of comedians that we have now, right? Like, there's only a few that like stand out from the crowd, and those are like god tier comedians for some people. That's Chappelle, that's Rock, and whenever Eddie Murphy decides to show up, it's like, you know, Kevin Hart is like, he's trying to make himself be in that god tier, but it's like, you can't be in that tier if your jokes, like, pacing of it are like repetitive, right? Like, because Chappelle, he can have some like repetitive type, like maybe plots, but each time he delivers it, it's like a totally different delivery. So no joke is ever the same, right? As opposed to Kevin Hart, listen to me, no lie, I'm gonna tell you right now, like this, blah 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 blah, and then he gets to laugh, like it's like a cheap pop laugh because of the way he's telling it, but it's not really like, oh, that's funny as shit. You know what I'm saying? That's like, why is he saying it like that? That's funny. You know what I'm saying?
It's not really the joke that's funny; it's how he delivers it that's funny.
Correct.
Personally, I feel like for me, there's like the Hart before he became a household name. Only like people who loved comedy listened, like would go to his sets or like buy his specials. And then there's post Hollywood Hart, and I feel that when he went to Hollywood, all of like his weapons on during sets were exposed, and so and man, yeah, because it's like I feel that when I like watch a film with Hart in it, I'm watching the set, and when I watch the set, I'm like, this is the same nigga. Like with Murphy, there's a clear difference between like Hollywood Murphy and like
Murphy.
Yeah, like, you know, like honestly, like even like those older films with Murphy, oh, like I'm still like, it's the same person, but it's a different person, but like I'm still entertained because like there's something interesting happening on screen. Like I never seen a single like Chappelle film, like a movie he's been in, and when he's cast in the film, he's not playing Dave. And I have so little experience with Dave that if I'm watching the Chappelle show, if I'm watching a set with Dave in it, I'm like, oh, like he's unpredictable, so he can take me to a place. Frankly, I don't even like support Chappelle in that way anymore. But man, like when I'm listening to a comedian, like I want to like it helps if I like them, and if it helps like if they're well known enough for me to like give them a chance. Like Hart has had too many chances for me personally to like make me like him. To me, he's just obnoxious. Like it's gonna and he's gonna be around forever. So like I don't see him ever changing in a way for me to give his comedy a chance. And frankly, I hope he never does, because clearly what he's doing is working. It works for like the rest of the country, but like I am not amused, and I wish him the best, because like the success and the way that Hart presents himself to the public as like a black man, as a father, as a husband, like it is a cautionary tale that a lot of black men need to consider if they want to like play the role of a public figure in entertainment.
Yep. Exactly.
And yeah, and
hold
on, Kenny.
I will say this though. There are, as a comedian, you have the stand-up side of you, you have the, acting side of you. And for me, it's like, Kevin Hart can make me laugh. Like, there was they had like a little roast session for the NFL Hall of Fame no, it was like NBA All-Star game I want to say, or something like that, something that had to do with sports. Rich Eisen was hosting it or whatever. Kevin Hart was in it. Jack was in it. Tom Brady joined in. It was just like
Brady.
And Kevin Hart was torturing everybody that's off the screen, and it was smart. It was dope. But it's like in a stand-up set, as Kenny said, the content that he presents is starting to get old, even as it starts to grow. So, like, what do you do with that at that point? But if it works for the rest of America, it works for the rest of America. This is the type of comedian, the type of black comedian that the rest of America enjoys, because he's, for lack of better words, harmless. So
yes, he's a safe black.
Exactly. So it's like that's why when it comes to the rest of America, I get it. But when it comes to me, I'm like fair weather about it, because Kevin Hart, for the most part, hit this for me. He's hilarious on a social screen. Hilarious on a social screen. But like his stand-ups, it's like, there are very few comedians that is well-rounded in that sense. Dave Chappelle is one of those few comedians, because you see Dave Chappelle in his stand-up, and those are fucking hysterical, even though they can be considered problematic at times.
Yeah.
But then you see Chappelle's show, and you're like, this is brilliant. But then I encourage you to watch the likes of Robin Hood Men in Tights, Half Baked, Undercover Brother, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, he is in that movie, yeah.
Yes, he was. Mm-hmm. And every time he was in that, every season he was in, he shined. So it's like, it's very few, I'll tell you what, the best to beat that was this dude from Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
They consider him one of the greatest comedians of all time.
Oh, Patrice O'Neal?
No.
Okay.
No. We're close though.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's Chicago. I'm thinking Richard Pryor.
The GOAT.
Richard Pryor, it is and forever will be the king of both the comedy silver screen and the comedy set.
100%.
And if they gave him another 2 seasons, he probably would have been the king of the TV comedy sketch show.
No, low key. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Never mind.
Because not a lot of people know about the Richard Pryor show, and that was a short-lived television sketch comedy show that was on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him this show after, I believe it was after his outing on Saturday Night Live. So they give him the show or whatever, and literally how he opens up is pretty much like he's pretty much saying that NBC is thrilled to give me a sketch comedy show, and I have stupid things to say about them, and as soon as he say I got few things to say about them, he's talking shit.
Of course.
They dubbed him over saying nice things about NBC, but clearly he's shit talking NBC.
I think the one thing for that Richard Pryor show is the one episode he comes on. He's like, "What do you want from me? I'm standing here naked."
Yeah, he's dead ass naked. But the funny thing about this, it's not blurred out there. They CGI his genitalia.
Yeah.
It's smooth. It's like a Barbie doll.
Oh man.
Richard Pryor was well ahead of his time, and honestly, I think Richard Pryor is one of those few past comedians that probably could have fared well in today's climate. I say that and think about his skit about Africa, right? Which he said the premise is he takes a trip to the motherland or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And when he lands there, he is absolutely taken back of how everybody out there is similar to everybody out in America, right? So he's like, "Oh shit, look, it's Joe Frazier." He's like, "Oh shit, blow the wine out. I can get out here. Get down." So then he moves on about how he go on Jeep tour in the safari, right? So he's like, so we riding or whatever, and the tour guy, man, he had odor, he had that old deer, right? It was like, it got to a point where I had to jump out of the car. I was like, wait, stop the truck. I had to step out with fresh air, though. We in a Jeep. Tour guy showed us, set a line or whatever, and he was like, if the line, they hunted down a water buffalo, right? So they, get in on the water buffalo, and the white couple that was with them or whatever, it was like, "Oh, honey, take a picture of that." It was like, Lion looked over like, "Yeah, bring your ass over here. Bring that camera with you." He was like,
Nope.
Buffalo, did it by the nuts, talked to the air, and looked over to the white people like, "Take a picture of that." He was like, man, he's like, how vultures be flying around in circles around the carcass and shit, the movie and shit. He's like, these vultures pulled up in a Jeep. Talking about what they. He's like, I watched some cheetah chase down some gazelle. He's like, and the cheetah was in the cut, chilling, looking at it, waiting on it. It was like, say, man, I heard a gazelle there. He said, nah, let's hang back for a little bit. Give him a little time. Hey, man, how's the holidays going for you and the family? Coming soon. He was like, I changed that source last year. He was like, all right, they far enough. Ready? He was like, yo, he was like, and then the gazelle, they all saw they got fucking low. And then there was one old motherfucker that could barely hear. They tried to tell him, Cheetah! What? Cheetah! What did it say? Cheetah! Huh? It's your ass! Ah, I got you! He was like, I just got the old ass gazelle hit the move with a cheetah. Cheetah pounced on the gazelle said, he was like,
Lord have mercy.
Oh, we can't tumble forward 500 yards. We can try it next time, motherfucker.
Wow.
But then he reeled it all in, right? And this is the most beautiful part about this entire skit. I mean, this entire skit. He reels it all in. He's like, but the most beautiful part about this entire trip was this epiphany that I had. So I was, in my hotel room, and I was looking out, and I was seeing all the beautiful black faces, and a voice in my head asked me, "Do you see what I see?" It asked me, "What do you see?" And I said, "I see beautiful black and brown people, all interacting with each other and coexisting together in peace and harmony." And that voice asked me, "Do you see any niggas?" And he said, and it hit me like a shot. He was like, I broke down crying. And I thought to myself, no, I don't see niggas. It's like, and since then, I haven't used that word. I thought that was dope as shit. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was absolutely beautiful. Me? Oh, I'm using
28 years old, I earned it.
so much.
I say I see niggas every day.
That word is like passe. But yeah, sometimes I'm inclined to use it.
No, man. Like, for those who don't know, I started like a Beyonce themed podcast, and one of my viewers who I've known for a long time asked myself and my two co-hosts about how we feel about the N-word, and I'm like, you know how I feel. Like, and context is everything. But my other two hosts, one of them who like I don't speak to any longer, he gave like some very like misinformed rant about it and how like nobody should be able to say it at all, and what would happen if we stopped. And I'm like, he don't know no niggas, so that's why he said that shit.
Bingo.
And like the other like well-educated sister who's a teacher, a middle school English teacher.
Okay.
And so like, you have young black boys in your class, and you have a very like delicate and important role to like play in their lives, because who knows what kind of world they're going to go back to when they're not in your classroom. And
Exactly.
she however had a brief rant about how she never understood how we're all from Milko, so we know having friends who aren't black but are people of color using the N-word. And like for years I did not care. That was not a concern of mine whatsoever. Like it was just like, I'm out here in the field, with my niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, but there came a point where I recall the boy band from South Korea GOT7. They're in like Cali for some reason at a kickback, and one of them let it fly, on some casual shit, not on some derogatory shit, just on some casual shit. And for public figures over there, like image is very important, being polite, like being professional. So like, they got reamed back home on the internet over there and on the internet over here, and I'm just like, I was confused that like there's an issue like over the West Coast, and like because there was no issue over here. But there came a shift amongst those in like the leftist space, like let's call them the wokies. Like at one point the wokies said that shit was never cool. That shit is no longer cool. And I'm just like, okay, but like, it would have been better if like we all had that conversation at the same fucking time. It's just that at one point, y'all decided, okay, that shit's no longer tolerated. But that was a conversation y'all had indoors amongst yourselves and not on the internet. But because here I am still in Philly in 2020, and I have like Hispanic friends who like to say the N word, and I'm not gonna say anything at work because like we don't have the time to unpack that. But like it would be helpful. Again, like I'm just if we had if it's the problem with like being in America and having so many like pockets of like space for like people like us, like you know like say Black Twitter. Like if you're on Black Twitter, you'll keep up with a lot of cool shit happening in our world, in this country. Like you'll never like be like behind on anything.
Yeah.
But like let's say you're not black, but you like black shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like where do you get to like put your hat down and take off your shoes? Like
well,
who's gonna who? Okay, go ahead.
With Black Twitter, yeah, it's predominantly black, but like you said, there are those white people that are more, you know, comfortable in black culture because it's essentially all they know. They don't try to act like they're part of the culture. They're just white people that, you know, are very well versed in the culture.
AKA Rory from Button.
Sure, exactly. So, like case in point, there's like, you know, a couple of white dudes that I follow, and they be a part of Black Twitter, and they just be, you know how to get down. They know how to not be problematic. They know how to flow it well with the like jokes that are going on that evening, things like that. So it's like people like that, they're cool. They know how to act, and they know that they know how to be a part of the culture without appropriating.
Yeah, but like I'm not talking about them because I'm sorry.
Well, I was saying those are the ones that I have respect for.
Yeah, but like it's different for like the street that the white boys in our culture walk down is different from like people of color. You know what I'm saying? Like our Hispanic friends, our Asian friends, etc., etc. Like their path is on the same highway but not the same lane. You know what I'm saying? So like it all comes like listen, like if you care about like your black friends and family, like you'll get on board whether you're like late to the party or not. But in regards to brothers and sisters that are like don't use it at all, it's like dog, like what is the context for the way that you feel? You know what I'm saying? With my teacher friend, I don't question her because like she's more educated than I am, and like she has more people to like that are depending on her, and more people that she has to like you know, like her bosses are not my bosses. You know what I'm saying? And for the brother that like just like is just completely in the dark, you cannot afford to be that way.
Yeah.
Like if you're like the black sheep of the family and you're into like weird shit like me, and like or if you're like black and suburbanized, you have to keep a door in the black world. Like if you're into like non-black shit, like if you're like a fucking Gambino and shit, you have to stay on at all. You have to be able to code switch in between your blackness and your non-blackness. If that makes any sense, you know what I'm saying? If you've seen fucking Donald Glover like at all in any capacity, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You have to always be in the loop, even if you don't give a fuck about that shit. Like don't give like the brothers on the block a reason to fear you. Don't be like Tom on the Boondocks. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do one better. As I was telling Kenny last week, or sometime this week, I've been listening to a lot of The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Yeah.
Who is one of my favorite analysts, actually. But he had Bubba Wallace on the show at one point, some time ago. And Bubba Wallace said at one point, I'm black, but not the black you think I am, right? So, Bomani kind of like analyzed it as such that he may think that he's a black person that knows he's black, but still is still trying to find his identity or his place in the world or in the country as a black man in America. And he was like, well, I'm here to tell you, you know what I'm saying? No matter what place you think you're in, in the black community, you are black, and therefore we're riding for you. Like we'll always have your back because
Period.
we even though we're in a different game that we're unfamiliar with, such as NASCAR, you're still a black man in a white man's game, essentially. So it's like, and not only that, but you're making a name for yourself in that as well. So we're definitely going to have your back when something such as a noose in your garage comes about. Now we know who you are. Now you have our full undying support until you do something reckless and cancel yourself. So
Right.
Bobby said, we're here. We're going to be here. We're going to be behind you until you tell us to go home. At which, please don't do anything that gets you canceled.
And
But
it's funny. Go ahead.
but the point is that Bubba Wallace isn't your typical urban type as they stereotypically would put it. This is a dude that is a drummer in a metal band when he's not racing, things like that. So the thing was that we as a community have different subsidiaries of our community. I think it is just what it is. Like
Big country.
we're one whole community, but we make up different subsidiaries because blackness is a spectrum. So we make up different subsidiaries of our blackness, but as a whole, on the whole, we make up blackness. Like we make up, Black Boy Joy. We make up the black community and how that community gets down, and every aspect of how we represent our personal self.
Any?
We'll go ahead
Oh,
and
yeah.
pre-show on that note.
Yeah, let's get it. Save it for the show. Yeah.
Yeah.